Sometimes there's people who want to work here who like watched an Instagram reel or something about baking, and they like have ideas about it being this like, I don't know, really special, romantic kind of like as if we're poets, you know, every day sitting in the sunshine writing poems about our love of the world. But really it's more like we're like bricklayers and we're just working, you know. It's like do the same thing and then try to do it faster. That's about all the.
But still as good as it was at the beginning.
Oh yeah. And it just goes from the oven out for people.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm not usually on the bread shift, and so this is it's a lot of like muscle memory and just sort of remembering, because I've done it thousands of times, but just not recently. And so it's like, oh yeah, what do I do? What do I do? And sometimes my brain slows down. Yeah. Do you need? Do you want a coffee?
Oh, why not? Yeah.
We actually roast our coffee here.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
It's a good way to start the morning.
Oh yeah.
The first thing that bread bakers do when they come in is start a fire, and it's kind of a nice. It's a little bit romantic, and someday maybe we'll get like an automated burner thing and all that, but I enjoy the process of like starting your day by starting the fire that will then make the heat that we then bake bread with. So right now, the oven's at 217. It's slowly becoming more warm, and we're just waiting as we keep feeding the fire for it to hit 250-ish. So then I have one other mix to do after. So while this one is kind of going, then I start weighing out my stuff for the next mix. So it's all sort of like everything is happening all at once and together and overlapped. And so to be a baker here, there's when new bakers start, I tell them it is for sure overwhelming, like seeing all the different stuff going on, like especially what Mark's doing right now, just so I don't mess up. We bake so many different kinds of pastries. The pastry bake is quite comprehensive, like or dynamic, I guess. Like things going in at different temperatures and different when it's ready at different times and all that. But it makes sense once you get it. Like once you do it a few times, then there's like it's like swimming in the ocean. The waves can be overwhelming, but then once you find the flow, then it actually all fits together. Like when I'm done the mix, the oven's going to be ready, you know, and then we bake bread, and then after the bake, then we shape, because the bread this dough needs time to rest before we can shape it, and so that time is when we bake, and so it all kind of fits together. This is our sourdough starter.
Yeah.
And so we feed this every day. It's at 100% hydration, so that means the amount of flour that we put in that much water, and so it's a bit more liquid than some people's sourdough.
And can you just explain me what makes it sourdough? What's so special with sourdough?
Why it makes sense to me is that I like things that taste delicious, and it's delicious. but also it's like more digestible, and so like basically making the nutrition of organic cereal grain, which is what we grow in abundance, available in our local diet. And sourdough helps with that, because with the longer fermentation, like again, I'm not a scientist, but if you leave something for longer that's hard to digest, starches and carbohydrates from the grain, and you let the enzymic bacteria kind of get in there and eat it all, that's going to make it more, it's like step one before it hits your stomach and before it hits your digestive tract. And so it seems to make sense to me. Anecdotally, over like 2 decades of baking, people like it better. So I don't, it's like, it seems to also be good. You know, it tastes good, is good, and all that. So that's why we do that. When we say sourdough, we don't add commercial yeast to our bread. I'll be making cinnamon raisin bread. Then it's flour, water, salt, cinnamon, raisin. A baker is always moving and like lifting like bags of flour, 40 or 20 kilos. A bin of dough is around 20 kilos, you know, so you need to be, part of why I studied math at McGill.
Okay.
And did a degree in mathematics. And I really like math, but part of what I like cooking food for people more. And the systems of a bakery and what we're doing here is kind of like math a little bit. Mm-hmm. And why I enjoy baking is it's like different every day, like the nuance of the dough. It creatively you're thinking about like products and processes and things, but then it's also physical. So you're doing physical, you know, things, and but then also create, you know, using your head and your brain. And so I was like, oh yeah, this is something I can do, you know.
Yeah.
This is Saskatoon sourdough. So this is a bigger mix.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's coming more together, but it needs that shine.
Yeah.
This is called an autolyse period of mixing, so it's just resting to let it like sit, and then it becomes a smoother dough in time. So in about, you know, in a little bit I'll turn it back on, and then you'll see it comes together, and then it'll be like shiny like that one. So remember the other one, it kind of like fell apart and was like shaggy. Now it has like really good tension, and you can pull a nice window. So that window is what we're looking for to be before, like it still tears, but we can get a really nice window before it tears. And that's what we're looking for it to be done now. And so you can see like this is just air trapped inside a bubble.
Yeah.
And so this is all signs, and it's also shiny. So that like shininess is what it's nice, good together dough. This is just really shows you how good the dough is. Like that's, and it's very different than flour.
Yeah.
You know, if you just mix flour and water, it doesn't look like this, you know.
So that's not just flour and water. That's a dough.
Yeah, it's like flour and water and someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so there's some bread that we make that isn't only for tomorrow.
Okay.
So this is our square bread.
Yeah.
And it has commercial yeast in it. And it gets mixed today for today.
Okay.
It's called square bread because when I have 3 boys who are now young men. But when they were young, their dad was like baking stuff at home all the time and testing and learning. And so they would say, "Dad, we want square bread. We want square bread." And I was like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "What's square bread? Like, what's square bread? What do you want?" And then they said, "Well, you know, the one that's like a square, not like a ball." And so they wanted basically like pan bread instead of a boule or a batard. Mm-hmm. And so because it's my bakery, I can call things whatever I want. Oh, yeah. I thought it would be kind of cute to call it square bread. So now we have hundreds of customers who buy square bread that my kids named when they were just babies. So it's kind of like this cute little like nod to the family.
Of course.
This is scaling because we're scaling each loaf to the right size. I go pretty much exact, but
okay.
It's you know,
I think it's because you're so fast that I thought that you were just doing it, just.
No, it's just
Oh.
because I've done this like so many times.
Of course.
So just to kind of bring it closer into the final shape. And in my mind, my approach, or how I was taught, is that each one of these steps, from the mixing to the pre-shaping to the baking, are all what contribute. And it's a bit, what I enjoy is it's like my hands, or the baker's hands, that are like feeling the tension and like bringing this until it's right, so that we can bake nice bread. And so there again, there's places that are very good at like having full automated lines and robots making bread, but I believe in people, so it's a nice thing to make a loaf of bread. So I had a very good bakery friend from Australia named John, and when I was sort of deciding to open a bakery, coming from going to university, I was like, oh, what school should I go to learn? And John said, well, how much is the program? It was like thousands of dollars. And he said, why don't you just take that number and divide it in half and just buy that much flour and make that many loaves of bread at home. Like my first loaves of bread, I still have pictures of them. They sucked. And then you just learn how to do it better, and you learn how to do it faster, and then you're a baker. I've now kind of, I have like our way, like, not that I'm perfect, but the things that we make, we have a very good understanding of how to make these things. And so that initial curve of learning how to do things is sort of already gone over. The amount of bread that we have for Monday is that. Mm-hmm. And so we don't have more. So if you came in and you wanted 20 loaves of bread, we just don't have it, because we already mixed it today at 4 a.m. on Sunday. So it's thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
It's just a different way of thinking of things than like going to the grocery store and buying stuff off the shelf. So the name, The Night Oven Bakery, is from a book by Maurice Sendak, who wrote Where the Wild Things Are.
Yeah.
He also wrote another slightly lesser known book called The Night Kitchen. Mm-hmm. And in The Night Kitchen, this character, Mickey, falls into, it's kind of like his dreams, and he falls into the night kitchen. And in the night kitchen, there's these 3 bakers, and the bakers are mixing the dough in the morn, are mixing the dough so that you can have cake in the morn. And so that line, I think that's the line, I can't remember the exact line, but something like that, speaks to the labor of a baker, where I came in and Mark came in at 4 a.m. to do work, to do labor, so that we could make these products that people, when we open, can enjoy. And without us doing the labor, people can't enjoy their cake in the morning. Mm-hmm. And so it's a children's book that was quite, again, popular with our kids. And what is often forgotten about, not talked about in, the marketing and the, conversation around food and bakeries, is the labor and the people. So the baker, and the front of house and the barista and the managers and the dishwashers and all the people are important to make all of this work. Yeah. And so that's where the night, like people talk about they're like, oh, the night oven bakery, because you bake in the night. And it's like, yeah, Exactly. So that you can have bread in the morning, you know. And so it's not conflict, but it's just really emphasizing the labor of the work of a baker.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, where that name comes from. 3.12.
And there's actually maybe a play on word that you could do. The night, like with a K at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
The Nate Oven Bakers
Yeah.
at the Nate Oven Bakery.
Yeah, make a shirt with like knights on it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, for marketing, think
There you
about
go,
it.
there you go,
Bryn, think
yeah.
about it.
So our main bread, the Saskatoon sourdough, I started calling it that because customers would come in and they would say, "Oh, do you have sourdough like San Francisco sourdough?" And I was like, "Well, like, I guess so, but like we're not San Francisco." And so our Saskatoon sourdough is made with grain and flour that is from this area, and then fed water from this area, and is mixed and fermented in this area, and all of that, and then baked in this area, which is all called Saskatoon. And so in the end, it is Saskatoon sourdough.
Yeah.
You know, it's not something like San Francisco sourdough. It's this, you know, it's like this lives here. So
Bryn, the day people in San Francisco will ask for the Saskatoon
Yeah.
sourdough, that'll be a win. That'll
Yeah.
be the best thing.
that would be funny, but I don't think so.
No, you never know. You never know, man.
It didn't make sense to me to just have that heat come into the bakery and like then the air conditioning have to cool it off and everything, and then us use more wood and everything. And so I had a metal place. I designed these doors and had a metal place make them so that it kind of like closes the oven to keep all the heat in the oven. And so part of when we're ready to bake at the right temperature, we open up the oven by taking these doors off,
Yeah.
and now the oven's ready to bake.
Okay.
The process of baking bread is taking heat away from the oven into the dough. And so in a wood-fired oven, it becomes very obvious because the temperature will go down as we load bread. And so we have to make sure we keep the fire going so that it balances the baking of the bread and also the heating of the oven, so that we kind of stay at that same temperature.
Okay.
And so now we're on the baking part of the process
Okay.
of all the bread. Baking is putting dough in heat, and then the fermentation of the sourdough eats the starches, makes lactic acid and carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide gets trapped in those shiny window panes, in the bubbles of the dough, and then when it hits the heat, the gas expands, and then that's what makes bread so light and delicious, and allows the heat to access inside all the areas of the bread. So the slashing of the bread helps the dough expand in the way that we want to make an aesthetically pleasing but also a delicious loaf of bread. So this is actually more important than some people think it is. Sometimes they're like, oh, it just makes it look good, but it actually has a functional purpose in bread. Watch yourself.
Yep.
So this is our Saskatoon sourdough. It gets slashes on one side, and these two are our Parisian, and they get slashes on two sides. Why? So that bakers and people selling the bread can tell which one is which. Because they look very similar when they come out of the oven. So when we cut into it, if you look inside, you can see all those bubbles. And that's that fermentation showing itself all along there And so that's what's going to make the bread rise and make it extra delicious when it comes out of the oven.
Okay.
But it's sort of a nice reveal to see it actually happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's our baguette.
Proud.
Yeah.
Proud daddy. Wow.
The baguette was invented to make more crust.
Oh.
That's why the French came up with the baguette, is because the best part of bread is crust.
Oof.
So it kind of got like a bit gummy, but when I was cutting, but yeah, beautiful loaf of bread.
Saskatoon baguette.
Yeah, Saskatoon baguette. Yeah. People ask us why we do the point, and it's because it tastes really good, and that's how I like it. You know, so we don't make a whole bunch of baguettes. Mm-hmm. There's something that you need to enjoy fresh, you know, like within the day kind of thing. Mm-hmm. If we had 2 bakes and then one, you know, for baguettes in the afternoon.
Yeah. Whoop. Yeah, you're right.
So in Montreal, that's where I built my first brick oven. Mm-hmm. And so in La Paque Sans Nom, I am remembering and working towards like bringing the people together around the oven, and how do we think about the food that we eat? How do we celebrate the like memories of eating a delicious baguette, and how do we craft really like beautiful bread that's also just really simple? It's like not weird, it's a trajectory that like I wouldn't have thought that I'd be here like with this like fancy looking good bakery after dumpster diving bricks out of a like dumpster on Bernard et Montréal and squatting a bread oven in a park with no name.
Yeah.
But, you know, who knows where we go, and here I am. So now I'm just trying to keep doing what I'm doing, you know. But now we make cannelé and pain suisse and babka and brioche and all the other things. But it's the same energy, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And customers sometimes say, "Oh, there's real apples in it." And I was like, "Well, what else? What else would be in it? How do you make not real apples? I don't know."
So yes. We came to that point in life where people wonder.
Yes, it's real apples. Yeah.
Real food. Real.
So now that the bake is done, the oven gets closed.
Okay.
And then I can show you just outside, just for curiosity.
Cool. Oh wow, the hidden gem.
Yeah, and so this whole area, so this is more graffiti.
Ooh.
And then in the next year I want to build a stage there. Yeah, so that's I have 3 beehives up there. But this is like a just for Bryn project for fun.
Cool.
And then we have a garden over here. So a rhubarb over there that we use in our pastries, peppers, bell peppers and spicy peppers.
Ooh.
And then this is our 2 gardens with the sunflower.
And you use that for the bakery or for your own?
Yeah, for the bakery. So we have a pizza right now that uses tomatoes and kale and basil.
Yeah.
And there's a bumblebee on the sunflower. If you want to grab.
Watch it with my eyes. Oh yeah. In action, working. Busy.
Yeah, and so we use all this produce. Bakers can just come out here and grab whatever they want. Yeah. And then this is a bit of a project that I did for fun, of growing all the different wheats and grains that we use at the bakery. Yeah. And so that customers can see them. And so this is buckwheat. Mm-hmm. So you can see it starting to. So that's little buckwheat seeds. This is spelt. So épeautre, right? Is that right? Spelt. I don't know in French what.
Oh oui, you said épeautre? Yes.
Épeautre, yeah.
Oui.
And then this is einkorn, I don't know what that is in French.
Ooh, I don't know it either.
This is durum. This is Khorasan, so like kamut. This is rye, and then that's red fife. Or no, that's red fife, and this is Khorasan. So these are all the grains that we use at the bakery.
Yeah.
And now they're growing here. And so when they become finished, I want to collect them and make like a sheaf to display, like a decorative, like a Ukrainian sheaf. And then if there's enough grain, then I'm going to mill it and mix it all together and then raffle off the bag and do a fundraiser for somewhere.
Okay.
You know?
Oh, wow.
Like a fundraiser for Prairie Harm or something.
You'll find something.
But yeah, it's neat to see all the different, like, like they all look different, you know?
And once again, it is real. Like
Yeah.
the real apples, real thing happening.
Yeah.
Real food, real.
Yeah, this is, and so you're like sitting and having a pastry and a cortado, and then you're like sitting here with like bees in sunflowers and spelt blowing in the wind. And it's like, that's what our food is.
Yeah.
You know?
Cool.
And graffiti, you know.
Yeah, of course. Oh, of course. Always room for graffiti.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's the night oven.
That's the story of the night oven.
Yep.
The reward. Thank you for showing me that. It's cool.
People sometimes say that about baking. They're like, oh, wouldn't you eat all the things? And I explain that it's like if you've ever gone berry picking.
Yeah.
So when you go berry picking, the first like half hour, you're like, 2 for me, 1 for the bucket, 3 for me, 1 for the bucket. But then after a while, you get so like, you're like, oh, I can't eat any more berries. And then you just pick berries.
Yeah.
And so the same in a bakery, it's like, we make this every day. So it's not that it's not special, but it's like,
And there's only
not the same,
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
And there's only so much you can eat in the morning, right?
Yeah.
So